Nevaeh Hawkins to take it as he's opposed by J.J. Alphonse. And here comes St. Patrick, 8-minute quarters as the Shamrocks taking on the Maine East Blue Demons. Ill-advised pass, Edelman, and almost stolen away by the Blue Demons.
Well, Maine East comes out very aggressive here defensively in a man-to-man defense.
Good job catching that ball. David has had both hands out to catch it.
So St. Pat's is going to play a 1-3-1 zone. I know that Coach Burrow likes his team to drive and kick. That's his main offense. So I want to see how they want to attack this 1-3-1 defense where you're definitely going to have to shoot the ball well.
From way downtown and off the back iron. Good rebound by Hawkins as the Shamrocks looking to push. Now out to Breland. His shot is good. Nothing but net.
So Breland is one of their top scorers, one of their top players. Obviously can't lose him in transition right there. Number 10 for Maine East took a pretty deep three right there from the start. He's a sophomore. Coach was really high on him, but that's a lot of confidence for a sophomore to step in and take a shot like that.
Well, that's because it's loading. Oh, we didn't stream. Darn it. Okay, we're good now.
So you see Maine East is going to extend out pretty high, pretty aggressive. They're going to switch any of those ball screens all game. They're going to switch a lot. So they got to communicate on defense if you're going to switch. St. Pat's does a nice job with their ball movement early in the game. And now they're going to look inside at a mismatch. That's what can be created by switches.
Fakes the three, drives in, right-handed, off the glass and good. As a good drive to the basket that time by A.J. Thomas.
So they're two leading scorers for St. Pat's right off the bat, get a couple buckets. Ooh.
As a foul on the play, shooting two for Maine East will be J.J. Alphonse.
Nice pass ahead there. Obviously, St. Pat's extended their 1-3-1 zone, obviously getting up 5-0. Maybe they felt like they smelled a little blood. They extended their 1-3-1 pretty high right there. And Maine East did a good job handling it and getting to the free throw line.
He missed that free throw, David. Why was that the case?
You know, I haven't watched this shot enough to know exactly why he missed that shot. Obviously, it was a little bit long. But I think Maine East, Coach says that they're pretty excited to play. So I think they're probably also a little bit nervous as well.
Second one, no good. So if you're at the United Center in the fourth quarter, you get a free Portillo's hot dog. When the visiting player
in that shot.
Called the three.
Must have been out. I don't know if it was a travel or was he out of bounds. So St. Pat's is going to extend out. They're going to pressure here full court. Zone pressure, and then they drop back into that 1-3-1 zone.
For people that are watching that love basketball but don't know it as much as you, David, that's a bad pass. How can Maine East counter this full court press action from St. Patrick?
Well, obviously you have to handle the ball. You got to be more solid. I think they're maybe a little over aggressive early right now, Maine East, in trying to attack this. And instead of just being solid and kind of breaking it down and getting a little feel for it. So I think the start is to get a little feel for it by making some simple plays rather than getting pushed. Right now St. Patrick is kind of pushing Maine East to play faster than maybe it needs to be against this zone.
So we'll stick with the action. 5:49 remaining in the first quarter. Kyle Smith alongside Dave Edelman. Now, did your car start entirely today, or did you have to get a jump in this negative 10-degree weather?
No, I was fine. My car is great. Unfortunately, one of my assistants, who is a Maine East graduate, one of the great female basketball players at Maine East, Madeline McTake, she couldn't come to work today because her car didn't start.
Yeah.
But my car, all good. So shout out to Madeline, who's home instead of working today.
Are you still driving the Ferrari GT from the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
I wish I had that car. I did grow up in Highland Park where that car is, but I did not have that.
Was the car that got dropped off, was it in your backyard for us? As there's a good shot,
there you go.
It's good by
nice
Brandon
job.
Schreiber.
Not good defense there, though, by St. Pat's. I'm not sure their back player, again, maybe smelling a little blood.
Look at that finish. Finger roll, switches hand, David, for the nice layup.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. Like I said, right now, the scoring has basically been done by the leading scorers, the top players for St. Pat's. So that's something that obviously Maine East is going to have to correct. They can't allow the top players for St. Pat's to so easily get into their shots.
From way downtown, no good.
A lot of confidence for that sophomore. that he's pulling shots like that. Great pass.
No good, trying to box out, can't. Another one's good, that time by Hawkins. 6'7", he's every little bit of that 6'7" length.
Yeah, no, he's long, and he's obviously taking advantage of some opportunities there. So there's Jalen Mawago, who Coach said is one of the heart and souls of the team defensively, and will give them some grit.
3-point shot, and Maine East definitely needed that, and they got it. It's good
Trey
by
Hines.
5.
Yeah, that was Hines hitting that 3. They needed that. That was a big shot. Hopefully that settles them down a little bit. Maybe can get them into the half court a little better. That's the second time they've left him open. So again, big thing, when you switch a lot, you really have to communicate.
Did you like that transition 3 there, or would you like them to slow it down?
I think they're sped up a little bit too much. I don't think they want to necessarily get into just a speed game like that right now. For St. Patrick's, for St. Pat's to play defense a little longer in that zone.
Pump fake, the 3, no. And good job boxing out, getting the rebound by 1 in
That's their
Tristan
leading
Walton.
scorer, Tristan Walton, who we haven't seen even shoot the ball yet. You know, Tristan Walton, who's their leading scorer, hasn't even been involved in the game, and that's what I mean by Maine East right now. Love to see them just slow down a little bit. Just try to get a feel for what this zone off defense looks like. You know, get a little feel for it, almost like a jab as a puncher, before you just start attacking right away. And then, you know, once you kind of get a good feel for it, a lot of times when you play a 1-3-1, you can really beat it up once you kind of really get a feel for where the holes are.
Stolen away by St. Pat's, trying to split through the D, instead slowing it down. Almost lost his dribble. And a bounce pass on the right wing. Back out to top, they swing it out left. Left-handed move, open 3. In and out. Maine East can't box out. Second chance basket. Good job rebounding by St. Pat's, David, but not great boxing out action by Maine East.
No, like I said, right now, the leading scorers for their team are doing a lot of the scoring. They got 9 of their 13 points, and there now it's 11 of their 15 points. So they're going to have to do a better job against those top players on the team.
Well, Maine East has already called a timeout, partner. When do they consider calling another one now that they're down 10?
No, obviously he's hoping that they can survive here through this first quarter. You know, this happens a lot where a team's a little bit nervous. Like I said, I think that they've been really negatively impacted by this zone.
How tough is it to play a game at the last second when you weren't scheduled for this game weeks in advance?
Especially preparing for a 1-3-1 zone, because a 1-3-1 zone is very specific in how you want to beat it. We ran a 1-3-1 zone when I was at Wisconsin Stevens Point, and we didn't run it a ton, but we run it as a change-up defense. And the reason we ran it as a change-up defense is that it can really be tough to go against at first. But once a team kind of gets a feel for it, like I said, you see that hole right there. There are holes in a 1-3-1 zone that you can get some really open, easy shots. And that's why you just need to be patient at times and kind of get a feel for where those holes are.
How did that pass get through? Somehow did.
One thing St. Pat's is really doing a nice job of, their ball movement's been great. Sharing the basketball, really playing team basketball. I can see why they're having so much success early in this season, having watched them play here for the first time, is they are absolutely locked in to playing together.
Spinorama, wide open 3.
There
Nails it.
That kid can shoot. You know that kid can shoot. He's taken 2 shots from about the volleyball line. So that one, he finally got a regular 3, and he drilled it.
Out to the 3-point line. Driving in. The floater. Traveled. What is the ref looking for on a play like that when he calls travel?
Honestly, I don't know what he was looking at there. But I think he maybe got a little confused by the kind of quick pattern dribble that the kid took. That he got a little confused that he actually picked the ball up. When it was really just a pattern dribble that he used going into the lane. That was not a travel.
So it's a steal by St. Patrick out to the 3-point line. What's the ref looking for in terms of calling a reach-in foul versus a clean strip?
Well, like right there, you can get a reach-in foul. A clean strip generally is you're poking from behind. So you're looking to poke the ball from behind more on those, and that's what happened. He went by the man, and the man poked it from behind.
Wide open 3, but...
So Reliza comes off the bench, obviously he's not one of their big scorers, and there's their big scorer finally getting a shot. And that's what I mean about like trying to hang in there, because at some point they got to be more consistent in getting the ball to Tristan. I don't want to mess up his name, Tristan Walton. But they, you go through a first quarter as a coach, you hate to, be down big and be like, boy, my best player only shot one time.
Yeah, right.
You kind of that kind of is the hard thing, is you and that's what I mean by being just a little bit more patient and allowing for their best players to get more touches. Nice move.
Shot is good, and it's good by R.J. McPartland, 6'6".
He's only a sophomore. That kid for sure looked really good on that move.
A lot of size on the St. Patrick team.
So you can't make bounce passes through the middle like that.
Look at that pump fake. But the better block, and Maine East gets the ball back. So Maine East, they're losing, partner, but they're playing aggressively right now.
Yeah. Hey, they're hung in. They're down 10. I think if they could see, that was a tough shot again right there. Just too early, even though that time it was their best player. Just taking a shot too quick. There's 25 seconds left. You're down 10. If you hold the ball in this situation and maybe get a shot at the end and cut the lead to 8 or 7 at the first quarter, that would be great. But now you have the possibility of being down 12. I'll be interested to see strategically what they're going to do when they come down the court here, if they're going to be a little more patient. Obviously, you got to take against the press. You have to take a wide-open layup. But if you don't get a wide-open layup here, Maine East needs to pull the ball out, play for one shot, and hopefully if you knock it down, you're down 9 or 10, and that's certainly sustainable to come back.
So 23-13, 8 points thus far for A.J. Thomas. They have a lot of role players today with 3
right
points.
Here, we're shooting that shot, right? If he misses that, now you have now St. Pat's has the opportunity to go up 14, 15 points, and that would be just a very hard to come back from. And that's where I think St. Pat's did not come out exactly with the right mentality, or Maine East did not come out exactly with the right mentality as far as how they're going to play this game.
Nice cut to the basket, and a layup is good by Thomas. 27-13 right now. It's all St. Patrick. We'll take a timeout. You're watching the Shamrocks against the Blue Demons here on SBS. Back to the action. Kyle Smith alongside David Edelman as the coaching staff for St. Patrick, led by Michael Bailey. They look good, partner. Anything that they can work on in the second quarter?
Well, I mean, I expect Maine East to come out and play better from here. But the Catholic League Conference in Chicago right now is really tremendous. And the competition they've been playing this year is really, you can see this is a really good team. And what I love more than anything about them right now is how well they share the ball. And their 2 top players right now, it's been a little too easy for them. So I'm hoping Maine East will make it a little tougher for those players. And Maine East just is going to need to play a little better. Coach Burrow has done a great job with this program in a very short time. He's made this program competitive. And they've been competitive this year with a very good record. So, and they got thrown in to play this game. I think they're really excited. I think their excitement is really shown. And the inability to necessarily maybe prepare for what they were facing has kind of affected them.
That time they foul. That's been the trouble, David, in this game thus far for Maine East, is St. Patrick dominating the paint right now, and it's even hard for Maine East to try to foul to force them to make it at the free throw line.
Yeah, I mean, St. Pat's size has been really effective in there, obviously. I mean, number 11 is a good player here, A.J. Thomas. He's a good player. First time getting a chance to see him. Talking to Coach Bailey before the game, said, hey, our 2 best players are A.J. Thomas and E.J. Breland, and they're both college-level players. What level that is, certainly don't know at this stage, but they've come out and played really well and certainly have shown they're the 2 best players on the court.
Starting to get away from Maine East right now, already down 16. Now it's 30-13. And St. Patrick not quitting. They're maintaining the pressure on the full court press.
There you go. See, more possessions, what we just saw right there. More possessions, what we saw right there. That's a really good possession that ends in a shot. So I'm interested, a timeout in that situation could be, hey, you know what? This is how we got to play.
Right.
where a coach says, this is how we got to play. And now let's try to see if we can play more like that consistently. You know, and that's why I assume that he took that timeout, because they've been struggling. It was 27. They're down 17 points. And that was the best play from the game, and you could see it right from the start. You know, that just pass back and forth, the patience.
They look good on that possession, but can they be consistent with it? That's the question going forward.
Yeah, I haven't seen them play enough this year to know how they play consistently. And like I said, they weren't able to prepare for this game because they just decided to play this game late last night. So you didn't get the practice time. And like I said, a 1-3-1 zone and a press like this is very specific in how you're going to play against it. And like I said, what they just did right there, just patience back and forth, not having to think they got to beat it right away. And then eventually they made all the right plays. And like I said, a 1-3-1, there are holes to defeat it. And then you got to make the shots and make the plays.
Yeah.
And right there was a great job by them. Hopefully they can be a little more consistent there. And then it also starts with, hey, they can't set up in that press if you stop them, right? They haven't stopped them at all.
Right.
So that's the next step is, all right, can we play some defense and get some stops? It looks like they're going to go to the same defense here. So now we're looking at the same defense, which obviously Coach Burrow learned this under Coach Bailey.
Stolen away, Maine East 2-on-2 now. Tries to kick it out to the three-point line and does. The triple. And no good. They're trying to find their way back in this game with threes, David. It's not working thus far.
Yeah, they just hit one. They're going to have to hit some.
That three, no good.
But it starts right there. That's the problem.
He is a problem. They don't seem to have a solution for him yet.
Right. St. Pat's is on pace for about 90 points or so in this game. You're not winning this game if they score 90.
Yeah, I don't think the teenage version of Kobe Bryant's coming to the gym today. That layup's good. To score the points that would be necessary for a team scoring 90 on you. 34-16. Open three. No good. Offensive board. As Schreiber trying to get it to go, but can't, and Thomas gets it. Thomas spacing the floor well. The pass gets through. Ill-advised pass, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. This triple is good.
Yeah, I mean, right now, St. Pat's is able to play at this fast pace, and Maine East defensively is not able to really keep up with them defensively. And then offensively, like I said, everything is so fast.
Good drive to the basket. Remember, no continuation in high school, but that was clearly in the act of shooting when he got the layup up.
Yeah, and that was nice, obviously nice drive. And if there was one thing that I know Coach Bailey will probably talk about a little bit is their backline defense. There's too often their backline defense kind of allows for an easy basket situation. You know, when you pressure up like they are, you know that you're going to give up some open shots and some open threes. What you want to do is you want your backline of defense to be a backline of defense as best as possible. So right there, if you're going to foul them, don't let them make the basket.
When does Maine East decide to use a full court press to try to get back in this game?
You know, I think if second half you might see some of that, or if they're able to kind of get back into the game a little bit, maybe they'll pick up a little bit more. But I think they're just going to pressure in the half court. You know, you see St. Pat's isn't pulling the ball out and forcing them to have to, you know, press at this stage either. That would kind of push their hand if St. Pat's decided to play more a slower tempo.
Mid-range jumper good by Walton.
Yeah, Walton's starting to heat up there. He's got probably 8 now. But this is a problem. They're just not defending well enough at the basket.
How do they try to kick these 6'6" and 6'7" power forwards and center out of the lane so they're not rebounding offensively?
Well, it starts with keeping the guards out of the lane, you know, because the guards are coming in, so the natural help is what's allowing those guys to be open right now.
Shot is good. He's got a nice touch for a 6'6" guy.
Yeah, he shoots that ball over top of his head right there, but he's knocking it down nice and straight.
See if he has the Dirk touch on this shot, and he does.
It's always nice when you got a big man who knocks down free throws, because they're going to get free throws.
Right.
And, you know, sometimes it could be deflating to a team. You run the great offense, you get the ball inside, a shot real close to the basket, guy gets fouled, and then he goes 0 for 2.
That's what made those Lakers teams so interesting. They would win championships in spite of Shaq missing all those free throws.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like I said, there's situations where the best play on your team is to get it to your big guy, but then at the end of the game, if that best play results in him shooting free throws,
right,
then it doesn't become the best play anymore. And that's why Shaq needed a player like Kobe or Dwayne Wade, because at the end of the game, the best play wasn't necessarily throwing the ball to Shaq any longer.
Makes basketball so interesting, right? That's why Steve Nash and Stephen Curry, not only do they have value shooting the ball as that three-pointer's good by Cooper Cavanaugh, but they're so valuable down the stretch with that 90+% free throw shooting.
Yep. You know, St. Pat's got a pretty young team here as well. You know, a lot of juniors and some sophomores on this team. A young team. This team's going to be very good for a few years.
And he is just a force on the glass, isn't he, in 32, R.J. McPartland.
Yeah, I mean, he's really been good. But this is right there. You see how they're getting into the lane pretty easy.
The big guys for Maine East might have to stay home and just let the guards shoot the floaters, because every time they kick it out to McPartland, McPartland dominates them on the glass.
Again, nice patience here. You know, nice patience there. Got the ball inside. You know, for sure, Alphonse, 15, is struggling a little bit with the size. You know, he's a big, strong kid. You can see he's a really big, strong kid. But the size of 32, you know, McPartland, and obviously Thomas and Breland, like those guys are long. He's struggling a little bit when he catches the ball in there.
At the three-point line, in and out, and good rebound for Walton, but ill-advised pass, and here comes St. Pat's again. Open Trey, he tries it again. This time it's good for Harper Krolak.
Yeah, there's too many of those kinds of turnovers. Too many of those kinds of turnovers. That's when you're just not playing well, when you're making turnovers like you just saw Tristan have.
Off the glass, no. Rebounded by McPartland. What else is new? So, partner, when you're up by this many points, can you try new things that you don't practice as much since you're up by a big lead?
Right now, it's too early to start doing those things. What you want your team to do right now is you want them just playing. You don't want to take your foot off the gas pedal. Now, when you start to see them play casual, you know, or like right there, that was a bad possession. If you get to there, then you're gonna see Coach Bailey call timeout. I wouldn't be surprised if they score here that Coach Bailey calls timeout. But you see too many of those kinds of turnovers right now.
Good contest without fouling by Walton, but even better layup by Cooper Cavanaugh.
And so those turnovers happen when players are thinking about scoring so much, that everyone's really thinking about scoring. And that's one thing that I would talk to my team about in a situation like this is, hey, the passing is what's going to lead to the scoring. Almost all their baskets have come off of a nice pass, right? A kick out for a three. So trying to get them to understand that, hey, don't worry about your individual scoring, your individual game right now. Because they're playing zone, it's not about the individual. It's about how our team offense will get us the shots we want.
47-27 as just substitutions, no timeout by Coach Bailey.
Yeah, once they scored that basket, that takes out. Like I said, if you go down, you give up a three, shoot a bad quick shot, they come down, score again, then a coach might say, all right, let me make sure that we get back into what we want to do. But once they got the steal and the layup, that takes that away. They're back into their regular rhythm.
Well, Maine East is down 20. They've only committed 3 fouls. They could commit some fouls. Well, there's a steal and a layup. I mean, you're right, partner. Just too many steals, too many turnovers by Maine East right now.
And you can tell Tristan's very frustrated right here.
If Maine East gets, that's another steal. My goodness. Slamma-jamma by Nevaeh Hawkins.
That's when it's fun. That's when it's when you're just having fun.
Are you surprised that Maine East allowed him to dunk that and didn't try to foul?
No, that would have been bad if they tried to foul. They would have hurt him. No, that, you could tell they're a little deflated right there.
Right, yeah.
They're a little deflated right there. The second half, obviously, Coach Burrow is going to try to talk about, hey, 0-0. Let's see if we can play a better half than we played the first.
Right.
Really, more than anything, it's that third quarter, because the fourth quarter, with the way this game is going, St. Pat's is going to play most of their bench players, obviously, in that fourth quarter. So you're hoping for that third quarter. Hey, what can we do better to feel confident against this level of competition?
If Mother Nature had cooperated today, what would you have seen from Joliet West that would have given St. Patrick some fits?
I wish I could answer that question for you, Kyle. I haven't seen Joliet West play. Unfortunately, I'm not covering high school basketball on the regular. I'm running my Play Hard Hoops basketball program, working with young kids. But it's exciting to come out here and watch high school basketball. The game before this was a really exciting game you got a chance to watch.
What are some of your best success stories at Play Hard Hoops at the high school and college level?
Well, Jackson Davis, who's a freshman at Warren, that's a star player right now. He did some Play Hard Hoops when he was a young kid. And, out here in the city, there was a kid named A.J. Ramsa and Sam Maniscalco. Sam Maniscalco played at St. Pat's. They did Play Hard Hoops at one time. So, we've had a lot of kids that have gone on and done some nice things in basketball.
Pretty cool that Corey Maggette went to Fenwick.
Yeah, I remember those teams. We actually recruited a kid from Fenwick named Chris Williams to Loyola when I coached there.
My goodness. Just dominating the glass. They get the board and the layup. 58-32. It's just tough sledding for Maine East when you're going up against a 1-3-1 with no practice time to get ready for it.
Yeah, I think that part, the coach will be okay with. That's something that's a good learning experience. The defense, giving up 58 points, you can't survive giving up 58 points. Even when you play against a better team, you have to find a way defensively. And that's what I'm sure he'll focus on a lot, after this game is, all right, we've got to become a better defensive team.
We'll take a break for 5 minutes. We've got Stat Crew, so we'll look at the Stat Crew stats of what we've got for you. But right now, 58-32 lead in favor of St. Patrick here on SBS. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kyle Smith alongside David Edelman. 26-point lead for St. Patrick's, and one of the reasons for that, partner, not a great game from Walton. He committed 6 turnovers in that first half.
Yeah, and certainly, that's not all on Tristan. The entire team, I think, tried to play maybe a little too fast against the zone. Playing against, obviously a really good team as well. But the turnovers just absolutely, is the reason why, instead of maybe being down 10 or having an opportunity to be still in this game, that we're looking at the score, 26 points.
One of the good things for Maine East, there weren't many, but there were some. They didn't foul a lot. Now they're down by a lot. Do they consider fouling more and making St. Patrick earn it at the charity stripe?
Well, I think Coach Merle for sure is talking about, and that's why number 4 is in here starting. He wants them competitive here. They got to be more competitive than they were in the first half, and that does start with not just giving up easy layups. I give up 58 points in the first half and only foul 3 times. I'm pretty upset because that speaks to your aggression.
Yeah.
It speaks to your aggression on defense. It's one thing to get beat. It's another thing to get beat because you're not competing hard enough.
Right.
So they're going to compete harder. You can see in that first possession they competed harder right from the start. And it'll be interesting, does St. Patrick's keep up the pressure?
Right. And as good as St. Patrick is.
Nice pass.
Yeah, it was. This isn't the Chicago Bulls at the free throw line. See what they can do. If they make both of their shots, then they made both of their shots. But you're right, giving up 58 points and only 3 fouls.
This is now the game for Coach Murrow. This is now the game, and you say they did foul in this situation.
Right.
But this is now the game from the third quarter, because the first half obviously was a disaster. So what he's saying is, okay, this third quarter, let's see how we could play this team. Let's see if we're a different team. Let's see with some adjustments, our talk. Because the fourth quarter, like I said, unless they do really bring the score down, the fourth quarter you're going to be looking at the
running clock,
the backups in.
Yeah.
And so now you're not going to get a real relative understanding of how you played against them. So this quarter and this part of the game is really important to coach.
Missed that free throw. 59-34. on pace for 116 points is St. Patrick. Bounce pass in the lane. Tough shot. No
Even
good.
though they didn't score on that shot, that was the kind of possession really needed to see more in the first half. You know, the pass back and forth, much better offensive possession.
They fouled. They're forcing them to make him at the charity stripe, something that Maine East didn't do a lot of in the first half.
Yeah, they're still struggling to handle the speed with which St. Patrick moves the basketball. And so they're getting into the lane pretty easily. But at least, like you said here, they're trying to be more competitive, and they're forcing them to make the free throws here, which are 1 for 3 now, rather than just giving them uncontested layups.
What do you think's going to win that Steelers-Bills game today in the, 68 inches of snow in Buffalo they got?
You know, I would probably take Buffalo, but I do think the Steelers are going to cover the spread.
There's talk that the Steelers might trade for Justin Fields in the offseason if they lose today.
Okay. I haven't heard that one, but I am going to hope and assume that the Bears are going to make some sort of quarterback decision.
Well, they've been
that
making
will benefit the team next year.
They've been making quarterback decisions to benefit the team since the 1940s, and hasn't really worked out.
Well, that's why they got to get it right this time.
What is it, 78th time's the charm? Good job keeping that basketball in bounds. Another steal, but really, Parter, that was an excellent play by Hawkins.
Yeah, and right there again, he's hustling for that steal, and that's what I mean. Those are the shots that we don't need that shot. Great defense, great job by Jalen to get that steal. Let's run our offense. Let's see if we run our offense, if we can consistently get a good shot.
You know, we've talked a lot about the size on the St. Patrick team. We talked about McPartland, and we haven't talked a lot about the bench players. And Casper Coel at 6'7", now Caleb Vadekis in the game at 6'5". Open man in the lane, layup no good. Just nothing's falling right now for the Blue Demons.
Yeah, good job though. You know, again, good possession right there. Good pass by Tristan.
How can Maine East combat some of this size from St. Patrick?
Just what you saw right there. You know, they did a nice job pressuring. You know, but a lot of it, you know, so much of their defense has been in transition where they can't get their defense set. So certainly Coach Murrow would have liked to seen their defense go against them in a more set position. They certainly would have had more success. There it is. Great job using the ball fake there.
And it is a basket good for J.J. Alphonse.
And there Tristan did a nice job. He held the ball strong, waited for the pass to present itself.
No need to shoot the three. St. Pat's can run some clock here if they want to.
Well, like I said, right now they're still playing. You know, they're just playing. He's not really trying to slow the game down. They just want to keep playing. You know, but the one thing they've done the entire game, this team is playing together, St. Pat's. I see why this team is tough, you know.
Out of bounds.
And you're seeing a better job in this half, though, of Maine East looking to make the right passes. I think the mentality is much better here in the second half than what we saw early in the game. But St. Pat's, offensively, really impressed with them, really impressed with how they share the basketball. Every player is involved in the game. See, everyone who drives in is not just shooting the ball, right?
Yeah.
They drive in hoping to see what's the best play.
Three-point shot good by Breland. Breland's one of their best players, Parter. They don't really need to use him, though, because Hawkins and Thomas is so good today.
Yeah, they haven't needed him to do a ton, but he's had a pretty good game. He's got 13 points, I believe.
Yeah, 14 for Thomas, 13 for Breland. Hawkins' day, he's on the bench. His day is most likely over.
Oh, I don't know. Possibly.
Yep, they're going to put him back in
he's
for
coming
one
in.
more.
Usually you'll go through 3 quarters in this situation.
Who do you like in the nightcap between the Eagles and the Buccaneers?
I don't like anyone. who do I think wins the game? Certainly Philadelphia, obviously. You can never count out a team that had the kind of success they had last year.
But they haven't had that kind of success this year.
But they've really been bad. And I like Tampa Bay the way Tampa Bay's played down the stretch. So if I was, I guess, had to put money on the game, I probably would put it on the Buccaneers. I would probably put that money on the under if I was a bettor, though, today.
No A.J. Brown tonight, and Jalen Hurts broke his finger last week.
Yeah, I would expect that game to be a pretty low-scoring game.
And then, yeah, Baker Mayfield's got the injured ribs and the ankle. 3-point shot, it's contested, no good. Did you like that shot or kind of force that one up?
No, like I said, at this stage of the game as a coach, you're not going to be real worried about the kinds of shots. He's a good player. He's shooting a kind of shot that he's going to have to be able to make in certain games. Like I said, what you're doing is you're just letting your team play because they're probably not playing in the fourth quarter. So let these guys play, get their shots. As you can see, the coaches are pretty relaxed there on the bench right now. While Coach Burrow is pacing and you can see the frustration. Yeah. You can see St. Pat's coach are pretty relaxed at the moment. That's what happens in a game like this.
Turning the ball over or turning the puck over, whatever sport you want to talk about, it just usually doesn't lead to victories. The stat on Saturday, about the Cleveland Browns being the first team in 20 years to make the postseason after leading the NFL in turnovers. I mean, that pretty much tells you in sports, you turn the ball over, you're not going to win games. Maine East turned the ball over, one of the reasons they're getting blown out right now.
And defense, you got to play great defense. Defense gives you a chance. Defense gives you a chance to win. So obviously, we talked about early number 10, Schreiber, who's a sophomore. Coach was really high on him. Comes out, shoots a couple deep threes early in the game. You get sense, today is a learning experience day for him as a sophomore. Right there, Nevaeh Hawkins just took him to school down low, and that's what you're hoping for your young players. Maine East has a lot of young players as well on this team. A kid who's really impressed me, kind of unsung, is a really good player, is this 24, Harper Krolik. He's a good player that I think, Breland obviously and Thomas are the talents, but he's a really solid player that understands his role, plays aggressively, but understands what he's doing within playing aggressively. See right there, but now not a good pass, but I like what he was looking for. And that's the difference between being talented and a good player. He's a good player. He's not as talented as some of the top players, but he's a good player, understands what he's trying to do. He'll learn from that pass here. Coach is going to talk to him a little bit about the angle and what he's looking for there.
I mean, plus, if you get trapped like that, you've got all 5 timeouts. You could call a timeout there if you wanted to, but, yeah, you're right. The pass wasn't the best that time by Harper Krolik.
He knew what he wanted to do. He actually had the play there in front of him. He just wasn't able to deliver the pass in the way he needed to.
Yeah.
But understanding the right play, and that's what coaches are looking at here. Are you still making the right plays? That's what a coach is really looking for.
Anything that St. Patrick needs to work on if they want to make a run at state?
Offensively, I haven't seen anything. I couldn't really talk offensively. Obviously, it's just been too easy for them here. Defensively, sometimes their back line on the defense. Defensively, I think they're not aggressive enough at the end of the play at times. Give up some layups. They do at times go for pass fakes a little bit too much. Really strong, solid pass fakes could hurt them in this zone. So coaches got to talk about being a little quicker and understanding that, hey, if someone's pass faking, you don't get yourself so quickly out of position. Those are probably little things that, from what I've seen today, they can improve defensively. Offensively, like I said, it's really been an easy day for them. It's hard to pick out something negative. And what I've liked the most is they're really playing together.
71-39 game on this Sports Monday in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Obviously, we all know the I Have a Dream speech, but more iconic Dr. Luther King moments that come to your mind, David.
Well, moments, obviously, I wasn't born when Dr. King was alive, but obviously just appreciating this day. And today's a big day for basketball. The NBA plays on this day. As we know, basketball and the NBA and college basketball is a big part of the progress for African-American athletes.
Yeah.
And, this is an important day for our country. One of the most important days that our country has every year, and it's why we're off school.
Yeah, off school. Some of us off work, others not so much, or they played hooky to be at this game today.
Is this really work? This isn't work. Is this really work? This is fun. We're watching basketball. Anyone
Right.
who says that they watch basketball feels like work probably should not be in this, right? It's one thing. The guys who are working are those coaches. Those coaches are working. They're worried. Coach Burrow, he's not going to have an easy supper tonight. He's got a tough night. For us, we walk out of here. This is a great time. I appreciate you having me out here. A lot of fun. Obviously, seeing Coach Bailey, Coach Biancalano, I've known since I was a kid, watching these guys do their thing, and they're such good coaches, and you can see how well coached their team is. For Coach Burrow, this was fun for him to get an opportunity to play against the coach who mentored him. And Coach Burrow, like I said, they're 11-7 this year. They got good players over there at Maine East. He's done a really good job with this program, getting them competitive really quickly. And the future's bright. Like, they got a lot of young players on this team that are just going to get better, and this will be a good learning experience for them, playing against a powerhouse in the Catholic League Conference. And they've got one win against the Catholic League team. They beat Notre Dame, which was a huge win for this program.
Look at that rebound by McPartland. He's just an absolute beast down low.
That was I'm a little bit in awe today because they just let him dunk. Alphonse, who's a good player, just was like, I'm not even getting in the way of that thing tonight.
And I'm a little surprised by that because it's one thing to lose, but they're dunking. I know you don't want to foul to create an injury, but you also don't want to be embarrassed either on the court.
Well, I think he didn't want to get embarrassed, maybe dunked on in that
That's
situation.
true. That's true.
I think he saw that as, all right, I see what's coming here. And that's, remember, it's a 30-point game. So sometimes you are picking your battles on that.
Well, unless things change, we're going to get a running clock in the fourth quarter. As St. Pat's just wait until the last second to shoot. And good shot by Curran. Stolen away by Hawkins. At the buzzer, no.
Yeah, games like this are really tough. And the most important thing when you have a game like this, when you're the team that wins, you can't allow winning a game like this. We got to go to break, I assume.
Right,
so we'll talk after.
We'll talk about it after the break. It's 75-40 in favor of St. Pat's here on SBS. 75-40. We appreciate everybody watching today's broadcast, including the Irish Nationalists on YouTube. Up 35 is St. Patrick and David. Mama said there'd be days like this. Mama said for Maine East today.
Yeah, and for St. Pat's too. So, to talk about both teams, one of the things I always worried about as a coach was after you won a game like this where the other team maybe didn't compete as hard as they should have, or maybe you even played so well, is that sometimes you don't come out the next game with the intensity that you need because you're just like, oh, this game was so easy, that's how it's always going to be. So sometimes the best time to bet against a team is after they win a game like this because it almost naturally softens them up. And then on the other end for Maine East, obviously for Coach Burrow, is how do we come back from this? You got to point out to the players that didn't necessarily play as competitively as they needed to, and you have to point that out to them, and you have to push them and motivate them. I remember, when I was coaching college basketball when I was at the University of Pittsburgh, a big difference between our team at the University of Pittsburgh and at Loyola University when I was first there. If we lost a game, that next day of practice was terrible. And I mean, not was the coach tough on the players, but the players went after each other. And, went after each other hard. And I'll never forget, we need to go to break here. I could tell you my Loyola University story when we come back from
I'm
break.
excited to hear it. It's 81-40. It's all over but the crying. St. Pat's dominating today against Maine East. 81-40. All right, David, I'm excited to hear about your Loyola University Chicago story.
You know what? It's a long time ago, obviously. I coached at Loyola from 94 to 98 with the late Ken Burmeister, who was an assistant at the Paul, recruited Tom Kleinschmidt, was a great coach. And, you know, we were rebuilding the program in our third year there. We started the season 5-0. And a lot of people were really excited. The city was even excited. And we went out to California and just played an awful game where we were uncompetitive against Cal State Fullerton. And when you watch the video of the game, it wasn't that, oh, Cal State Fullerton was so good and, you know, we just had an off night. We did not come out ready to play. We didn't come out ready to compete and play hard. Our kids got full of themselves from a 5-0 start. And, you know, Coach pointed this out through the tape, kind of showed them where they didn't play competitively. And we had a practice that was like almost like worse than regular practices. The kids did not go after each other. They acted almost like the loss was, oh, hey, it's only one game. Yeah, you guys were like, we've only won 13 games in 2 years, and I know you're 5-1, but it's not just one game. You have to play every game. And our coach asked me afterwards, and because of my experience at Pitt, I said, I think we're in trouble. Because I know when I was at Pitt, if we had lost a game, especially to a team the kids felt they were better than, the next day of practice would be guys really going after each other. And, you know, that's what Coach Murrow is going to want to see when he watches his team. Like, okay, so you had a game that didn't go well for you. You didn't play tough enough. We didn't do this enough. All right, how are we coming back from that? Are we going to let this be who we are, or are we going to say this can't happen again? And that's what really good teams and teams that are going to get there and win it late in the season are going to do.
I guess my question to you is, when do you have the cliched, okay, we're going to run and do sprints after practice, or do you have the Belichick, we're on to Cincinnati mentality?
It's not about running. It's about correcting what you did poorly. And obviously, you know, some of the bad passing, some of the bad shots, some of the bad defense, all that is stuff you do in drills, and all those are things that you're working on, right? But you have to start with how competitive you were. Did you play tough enough?
Yeah.
You know, did you play together enough? And that's where you start. And once you get that part right, as long as you have that right every night, you give yourself a chance. That's a tough call right there. Down by 39 points.
Hey, man, a foul is a foul.
I would have called the block on that
I
anyway.
probably would have, too. Looked like he was inside the paint, inside the restricted area, too.
Well, there's no restricted area.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Too many NBA games for me. I should stop watching the NBA, too. The Bulls keep breaking my heart.
Nice play coming off the bench. You see, you know, what's always nice as a head coach, what I can tell you, what you really love as a head coach is you come off the bench with guys who don't play a lot, and you execute the same offense that your starters execute. And right there, a handoff play where a kid drives in the lane, that's their offense. Drive and drill, see how they really get into that lane and kick. You know, this is off of what Coach Calipari, the drive and kick offense, is what Coach Bailey's running. And seeing that guys come off the bench and don't play as much, execute your offense the same way your starters, there's nothing more rewarding as a coach than that.
87-45.
And it also reflects on the coach, you know. Also really reflects on how good a coach Coach Bailey is.
As St. Pat's will just substitute. Thought they were going to call a timeout, so they're just trying to get all their kids in.
This is a substitution timeout, yeah. Let's get in our guys here. And so here's more like your scout team guys. These kids every day, these are the unheralded parts of a team. These are the kids every day that take lumps. You know, these are kids every day that come in there and you know, get dunked on by Nevaeh.
Right, well,
and come strong every day and give everything they got for the team and love the team. Well, it's so exciting when they get an opportunity.
Well, in the playoffs, players tend to foul out more. You never know when you're going to need to use some of these guys when there's a foul out.
Yeah, you know, obviously you never – well, some of these kids eventually hopefully will become players that I don't know the grades on all these kids right now, but some of these kids could be playing for them next year or the year after.
Well, they got a freshman on varsity. Actually, they got two of them. They've got Omar Ajanovic and Steven Quach.
Okay.
Pretty impressive to have, freshman varsity players. I know
Yeah.
St. Pat's is a private school, but still impressive.
Absolutely. Hey, right now the Catholic League in Chicago is probably the best league in the state as far as pure top to bottom teams these days.
That shot no good. 1:52 remaining. Running clock. If you're St. Pat's, do you care at all about putting up 100, or do you just run your offense?
No, he's not worried about that at all. I think it'll be tough for them to get to 100 with the running clock here.
Just got to shoot a three, go in your full court press, get a steal, shoot another three. No.
You're not even thinking about something like that as a coach. You in some ways don't even want him to do it.
Right. I was asking more about if the players are thinking about it.
Oh, yeah, some of the guys on the bench might be. Absolutely.
And one. Will they stop the clock? They won't.
But that's what's exciting, is watching a kid who battles every day with everything he's got against much more talented players, obviously. And then goes out there and makes a play himself. It's one of the best feelings, as a program when that happens.
So don't go anywhere. The post-game show brought to you by Sports Broadcast Solutions. Dave, thanks so much for joining our booth today. Any final thoughts about today's broadcast?
No, just, thank you for bringing me out here today. Had a great time watching these guys. And happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody, and hope to see you guys again.
Are you glad you're not in Buffalo with that 68 inches of snow that they're getting?
It's not like it's that much better here.
No snow, but your car might not start because it's negative 12.
Yeah, it's not that much better.
That shot's good. They got close to 100, but no free Big Macs. Just like a United Center, the Bulls got to score 100 for you to get that free Big Mac.
I think this is it right here. Get that last shot so our stat crew can add one more thing. You got to add one more statistic to the statistics sheet.
94-48.
As Stacey King says, beep, beep, get home safe.
Thanks so much, David, for our excellent crew. That does it for our play-by-play broadcast. Post-game show coming up next here on SBS.